Hey guys, Josh here. Today we're going to be talking about the major news that has just come out of the F1 paddock today, and that of course is that Kimi Raikkonen is staying with Ferrari for 2016, a major shock to many people who of course thought that it would be Valtteri Bottas moving across to Ferrari next season, or at least Nico Hülkenberg, and that's of course what many people wanted as well, including myself. Many people were disappointed in Ferrari that they've chosen Kimi Raikkonen for a third season in a row, despite having two abysmal seasons. I mean, this season, he's challenged Vettel probably in one race in Bahrain, and I believe since then he hasn't really done much in the way of challenging Vettel. He certainly hasn't picked up as many points as he has done, and basically hasn't allowed Ferrari to challenge for the constructors' standings this year. But more crucially, if Ferrari have the best car next season, or at least one that can match Mercedes on a more regular basis than they have done this season, then Ferrari have really shot themselves in the foot, because they're only going to be having one driver that's going to be bringing in huge amounts of points. Kimi Raikkonen, is going to be making a lot of mistakes, and he won't be able to, bring in the points haul that Vettel is bringing in recently. Vettel, of course, is a brilliant driver, but Kimi Raikkonen is some way off that standard. He's certainly past his best years in Formula 1. Many people were hoping he'd retire this season, myself included. He's had a good run, but you need to know when it's time to quit. Schumacher knew when it was time to quit, and I think that Raikkonen really does need to know when it's time to quit, and ideally the end of the season I think would have been a good time to quit, because you really just can't see Raikkonen improving. I mean, he's he's one of the oldest drivers on the grid now, and also if he did improve, he'd probably already improved on this season like Vettel did. Vettel had a bad 2014, but he picked himself up for 2015 and really, got on with it, and is doing a great job. Raikkonen, on the other hand, has been pretty much just as poor as he was last season, possibly slightly better, you could argue, but really, it's been another dismal season for the Finnish driver, and was hoping that, another Finnish driver, Valtteri Bottas, would get a chance at Ferrari. And of course this has major implications on the rest of the driver market as well. Of course at Williams we could have had Nico Hülkenberg moving there, we could have had Jenson Button, possibly even Alex Lynn, but it looks like we're going to have Bottas and Massa for another season. We might force India if Hülkenberg would have gone across to Williams. We'd have had Perez, and of course a vacant seat that could have been taken by the likes of Esteban Ocon or Pascal Wehrlein. And of course, if Button would have moved across to Williams, then we'd have had a seat at McLaren, possibly taken by Van Dorn. Of course, that could still happen. We could still have changes at McLaren, but it's very unlikely we're going to see changes at Williams. Of course, we're not seeing changes at Ferrari, and possibly not seeing any changes at Force India as well, although that's not quite confirmed yet. And, this announcement is probably not good for Sergio Perez, because, there are rumours surrounding whether he'll be there next year, and, possibly this announcement has not helped his cause. Although I do still expect to see him there next season. Of course, one of the major players in all this is Haas. With that Ferrari seat open for 2017, is Haas the team to be at, for next season? Possibly, if you're impressed there, are you going to be promoted to Ferrari for 2017? Or is it the likes? I mean, I guess Valtteri Bottas, of course, he can't move to Haas because Haas won't pay for the buyout clause. So I don't really buy that rumour of people saying that Haas, someone from Haas is going to move up to Ferrari for 2017. The way I see it, it's still going to be Valtteri Bottas once his contract runs out at the end of 2016. I think we're going to be seeing him joining Ferrari for 2017. As for Haas, I don't think it's really going to matter who drives for them in terms of, what's going to happen with the 2017 seat. Possibly Jean-Luc Vergne could be moving to Haas for next season. Possibly even Nico Hülkenberg could take his chances, leave Force India and just pursue that Ferrari seat for one final time. He could possibly even leave F1 and just concentrate on the WEC or different ventures, which would probably yield, a lot more success from him. And he's just been confirmed at the Race of Champions to drive alongside Sebastian Vettel. And, many people thought that was kind of an omen to what might be happening for next season at Ferrari. But no, sadly not. Hulkenberg's going to have to wait another year for a Ferrari seat, and possibly a Ferrari seat that I doubt he's ever going to get, because surely he'd have got it by now. He should have got it at the end of 2013, and he possibly should have got it at the end of 2015. But sadly, it's, of course now impossible, and looking very unlikely he could get a seat anywhere else apart from Force India or Haas, which of course is not ideal, considering neither of them, of course, are going to be challenging for the championship, something Nico Hülkenberg is absolutely craving. Of course, 0 podiums to his name. He's desperate to finally get a car that can provide one. Possibly he could do something at the end of this season in the way of getting podiums, But, you know, for next season, just another season at Force India, or a move across to Haas, which has no guarantees. You look at the previous new teams to join, and there's no guarantee Haas might just be backmarkers for next season, or at least back end of the midfield. I don't see why people are suddenly, you know, claiming they're going to be challenging for podiums from the first season. I just think that points would be a big, you know, a bigger reward, I think, for them. A big achievement, sorry, is the word I'm looking for Haas. So, you know, a lot of people jumping on the Haas bandwagon saying they're going to be getting podiums and that, but, you know, would a move it across to Haas be, you know, good for Nick Hulkenberg? I don't know. You guys can let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Should Nick Hulkenberg switch to Haas if there's a seat there for him? And what do you make of the whole Raikkonen staying at Ferrari for another season? Is this bad for F1? Is this bad for the whole driver market? Of course, it's bad for the likes of Verline, Ocon, Hulkenberg, and of course Valtteri Bottas. And do you think Bottas could be replacing Raikkonen at the end of 2017? Could it be Hulkenberg, or could it be someone completely different, but we haven't even mentioned? Anyway, you guys can leave all of that down in the comment section below. Drop a like on the video if you guys did enjoy it that much, and I'll see you guys in my next video then. Until then, have a great week. I've been Josh. Goodbye.